Welcome to Sam Samie Show. We have a lot of questions, so we bring guests to see if we can get some answers. My name is Sam Samie and I shall ask. So join us on the Sam Samie Show.
EMP attack would be the most nastiest kind of attack.
Can we have like any safe haven or safe bunkers?
A different gas could be some lethal gas be delivered to the patient instead.
So there's gonna be like one hacker somewhere in one basement that can hack into it.
Security is just an illusion. There is always a trade-off in between convenience and security.
We've made ourselves overexposed.
Could have quite deadly consequences.
Today we're gonna talk about a very interesting topic, World War III. Could it be a cyber warfare? So I've got Robert Joodat with me. Robert Joodat is a cyber security expert and a cloud engineer. How you doing, Robert?
Hello Sam, thank you for having me on your show.
My pleasure. All right, so let's get into it, shall we?
Let's do this.
All right. A lot of experts claim that World War III is going to be a cyber warfare. I mean, could the impact of a cyber warfare be so huge that we could call it a world war?
Well, Sam, I would put it this way. If you think about it, a cyber warfare, in easy words, it could be, think about, for example, a city infrastructure, a country infrastructure. For example, let's talk about a health system, the healthcare, the hospital.
Mm-hmm.
An impact of a cyber warfare to the city's infrastructure, an example that I can just think about off the top of my head could be as a result of a cyber attack to a hospital system. A possible scenario is that the hospital systems and the records, they could be hit with a ransomware. What that actually means is that, let's say, the patient's files, their previous records, those files can be, in technical terms, they can be encrypted on the system, which it will make them unreadable for the health staff and the doctors to access them to better diagnose a patient.
Yeah.
To a certain extent, what the other possibility of a cyber attack to a hospital could be, let's say, to their oxygen delivery system in the theaters or just in anywhere pretty much over the hospital. So those, to my knowledge, the way that those oxygen sensors work in hospital is that they're usually all computer managed. They're not manually releasing the gases.
So what you're saying is like they're connected to the network.
Pretty much, yes.
So you can, like, for example, like control them remotely.
Pretty much, yeah. As an example, let's say bed number 12 in level 15, the doctor sets the
level of the oxygen and
exactly,
all
for example, the mask that is on the patient's face to set the oxygen to about, let's say, 50%, 100% of oxygen to be delivered. In the event of a cyber attack, what could happen is that those sensors can be, the data that they send and receive, they can be manipulated or they can be changed. For example, a different gas could be some lethal gas be delivered to the patient instead, or the amount of the gas delivery could be changed, which could have quite deadly consequences.
Well, I'd never thought about it before, being honest. Well, that's very interesting. I mean, like, that would actually create a chaos.
Oh, definitely. That would potentially can cause a lot of harm.
Like, literally, like, has this ever happened before? Like, do you happen to know?
Not to my knowledge exactly with the oxygen sensors to the gas delivery to the patients, but there's been many cases of ransomware attacks to many different infrastructures. The latest one that I can think about was to a logistic company that the entire data they got ransomware, and pretty much when that happens, all of their systems, all of their files, they become inaccessible.
Yeah, they get like encrypted, and then they ask you to send them Bitcoin or Ethereum,
Exactly,
and then release
exactly.
your data.
Exactly, that's
Wow.
how the hackers are claiming to unlock the locked files to decrypt the encrypted files. But yeah, as history shown, pretty much whenever that happens, they pretty much never stand to their promises. They
Mm.
just get the Bitcoin and they just run away. So it's really important to have a disaster recovery plans in place, no
Mm.
matter which industry you're in.
What you said about oxygen, that I'm still thinking about it. Like, it's actually huge. It could be like one of those vulnerabilities that not everyone thinks about, and I mean, like, you should be prepared. Okay, and there are some stuff, there are some events that you don't even think about. Like, they seem to be like too small and unlikely to happen. So I'm just wondering if hospitals think about this, and if they have like any sort of firewall, or I don't know, like anything in place to prevent such attacks to happen. Like, do they actually do that, or they're just doing whatever they're doing?
I see. That's an excellent question, Sam. Well, in my field of profession in cybersecurity and IT, there's always levels of security um, and disaster recovery that are in place. But the important thing to note is that there are always a lot of flaws in the system.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe someone within the company, within the IT department, they may just, let's say, they forget to patch a system, which that system becomes vulnerable. A zero-day vulnerability is found in that system, and they don't patch it on time. So there is a vulnerability out there to be exploited. So
Mm-hmm.
theoretically speaking, logically speaking, there will be always a flaw that can
Mm.
be found as a vulnerability and exploited.
Yeah, nothing is like secure 100%. So there's gonna be
Exactly.
like one hacker somewhere in one basement that can hack into it.
Exactly. So that's I'll always tell everyone: security is just an illusion.
True,
You should
true.
always
It
think
really
about
is, yeah.
yeah, it's not all about security. It's
Mm.
about defense.
Yeah, good point. All right, so I have another question. Do you think someone could hack into the nuclear system of a country, take control of the nuclear bombs or warheads or whatever they call it, and then launch the nuclear bombs? Like something that you sometimes see in the movies. Is that even possible? Like, is that what is that what we can call World War III? Because now, like, for example, Russia, they have I think they have like 7,000 warheads. Like, America, United States has about 350 to 400 warheads. And like, if someone hacks into these systems and just launch the nuclear, like, that would be chaos. That, like, literally the earth is gonna be finished. Like, we're done.
I
Like,
see. I get your point. Well, I would say it's gonna be really a scary world to live in if just the possibility of that, thinking about just the possibility of that being actually like exploitable, like being possible. Well, overall, see, the thing is, nuclear systems, well, my knowledge isn't, I'm not really up to date with how they exactly work, but I would think that launching a nuclear, well, to my knowledge, would be there can't be just one keystroke to launch a nuke.
mm.
At least from the movies that I've seen, there's usually multiple person that they need to turn the key
Yeah,
all at the same
yeah,
time.
literally, they
That's
get
right.
like the suitcases, and they chase after the guy to get the suitcase and steal it, and then get the key,
Exactly.
and
So,
then the key is for another suitcase. So it goes on and goes on.
so I really hope that it's actually like that. But I would say if not, I mean, it's still in the back end. There are still a lot of connected networks. And as long as there are networks, programmable computers within a network, there will be always a vulnerability. There will be always pretty much a possibility of mischief in that network.
I mean, they must have thought about it, right?
I
They
hope
must
so.
have thought about it. So what you're saying is like there should be a physical element or checkpoint, if you could call it, just to go through or a step, and then like turn a key or open a lid or something to just do it like actually physically with your hand to launch the nuclear bombs. So I mean that would make sense. Like it's common sense. I mean,
That's how I
yeah.
would assume the system to be. But my
Mm.
point is, within an interconnected group of nodes, group of computers on a network, regardless if that network is being separated from the actual internet, as long as there are programmable computers, there will always be a way to get in, either from an insider
Mm.
or from other means, because those computers are programmable, and those programs can be modified. Now, of course, there are going to be of many ways of just ensuring the machines are running the code and the actual program that's been they've been designed to run, but
Mm.
theoretically speaking,
So what
it's
could go
always
wrong?
possible.
So what could go wrong? I mean, like in terms of like nuclear centers or nuclear bombs, like we see
Mhm.
if we see the World War III being played out as a version of like cyber warfare, like you know what I mean?
I
Like what are
see,
the
I see.
possibilities? What are the
A
threats? What are the
great
vulnerabilities?
a great example that I can think about is Stuxnet.
Okay.
Stuxnet was a virus, a worm
Mm-hmm.
that it took down Iran's nuclear fusions with a
Mm-hmm.
very sophisticated malware worm that was spread out through the network. The
Mm-hmm.
way that happened was, uh, as far as I recall, the last time I read about it was a USB drive, a USB stick was dropped near the facility. One of the facility workers find this USB, just being curious what's on it. They just plug it into a network
Wow,
within
really?
the facility.
Oh my
I may be
god.
wrong. I have to look this up again to be sure, but to my last knowledge,
You must
that
have
was
been
the case.
fired.
I hope so. So
Oh my
what
god.
happened from there once
Free
they
USB. I found a free USB. Yeah. What's in it? Oh my god.
yeah, they plug in the USB to the machine, and this sophisticated worm, the malware, just install itself on the machine, and I assume that malware didn't need any command and control center,
Mhm.
so it was written perfectly, very sophisticated, that it knew what to do and how to spread itself. So pretty much that malware spread throughout the Iran's nuclear facility. Well, one of them, I believe it was, and it stayed there for many months until it spread throughout all the systems altogether. And as per the pre-set commands that it's being given, it manipulated the sensors that was running the reactors, I believe.
Oh wow.
Yeah, so what it does,
Wow.
it broke many internal systems that pretty much, I believe it cost Iran's, I believe, around 10 years to regain what they've gained during that time.
Wow,
So it
really?
took them really back.
Wow.
Now, another example that I can think about, Sam, is I'm sure many of our listeners heard about Chernobyl,
Mm-hmm.
the nuclear reactor meltdown in Chernobyl back in 1940s or 60s, I believe. I'm not sure what year it was exactly. Now, to my best of knowledge, what happened over there was that I believe there was a malfunction or misreading of either between the metric and imperial, let's say Fahrenheit and Celsius,
Mm-hmm.
where it's pretty much the reactors or the cooling system just overheated, and I believe that was the reason that caused the meltdown. Now, I may be wrong about that, but my point is that Something very simple. A change in a system that will change, let's say, miles to kilometers, kilograms to pounds, Celsius to Fahrenheit.
Wow.
It could be just a
Yeah.
bit or just a few bit to flip in the code. That can cause a chaos.
Mm, that's crazy.
So it
Like just I mean everything has been set like perfectly in a nuclear center to just keep everything going and safe, and if you could call it. And
that's
then
right.
so if one thing changes, so it all go wrong, may go
Exactly.
wrong.
So it really turns back to mainly the physical security.
Man, I can't sleep tonight. I'm not gonna be able to sleep tonight. I'm serious. This is crazy stuff we're talking about here.
If you're gonna be up, then
God.
I suggest you go and watch the Chernobyl series from HBO. I believe it's only about
Okay.
5 or 6 series. It goes through all the details of what happened and what was the aftermath of all the
Yeah,
radiations
will
and
do if
nuclear
I get a
meltdown.
chance.
Yeah, yeah. But overall,
Definitely.
it really turns out to the integrity of the system. If the
Mm,
code, if the source code is manipulated, if there's any changes, the kernel, it would pretty much just detect that detect that change on the system and prevents the system to be booted up. One thing
mm,
that I like about the Samsung phones, I'm pretty sure iPhones does that as well. But Samsung Knox, what it does is it got an actual physical fuse
mm-hmm.
on the Samsung phones motherboards, the Galaxy phones, that if the OS, if the Android version of anything within the Android is modified, if that code is modified, it will flip that switch and it will pretty much kill the phone. And
Okay.
with that integrity check, so
Like all Android phones like have that
not
option.
all of them, as far as I know, but at least I know that the newer Galaxy phones, they have a feature called Knox,
Okay.
that it does have that
Yeah, I've
feature.
seen Knox somewhere. I think I've
Yeah,
seen it like on my
yeah,
phone.
yeah. The
Okay.
other thing that I wanted to mention is every single digital file, let's say an image or just a text file, with every single digital file has a fingerprint,
Mm-hmm.
and called with that fingerprint is called the hash of the file. Now, if a change is made in a system in the code, any simplest change will change that hash completely. So
Hmm.
that's how that integrity check when the system boots up is checked. That's pretty much what the Samsung Knox does to prevent the system, the
So
code from
what
being
you're thinking,
modified.
like what you're trying to say is like there must be something similar in nuclear centers, right?
I assume there must be, yeah, that there has to be something that at least takes care of
Like a
the.
kill switch, like it's something that like says like stop it. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah,
the
so
things are not the way they're supposed to be. So just I don't know. You know what I mean? Just stop.
exactly,
Just stop.
exactly, yeah, exactly. Like if there is any violation of a file change or any changes to the system that has been changed, regardless if it's been authorized or not, I assume there must be a system that will detect that change and just alert the authorities to just investigate what's going on.
Hmm.
So I really hope that is the case, and not just one level
I
of it,
hope so.
multiple levels that just ensures the integrity of the system.
Hmm. Very, very interesting. All right. Next question. Next question I shall ask about EMPs. So we've heard that EMP could be one of the threats and one of the weapons to be used in World War III, and they say there are some EMPs that they're so huge. If they launch those EMPs, all the electronics in the world gonna get destroyed. So we're gonna like go back to hundreds of years ago without any sort of electronics, because like if you don't have a computer, you cannot make another computer. So is that a possibility? Like what do you think? Do you think like uh do they exist? Do such EMPs exist?
Sam, when you first said the word EMP, that reminds me of Call of Duty. I remember last time when I played, I think it was Modern Warfare 3 or something that I played. Yeah, we had these grenades in the game that we just used to throw them around, and we had a little map on the corner of the screen that when an EMP grenade is
It would
pretty much
just
thrown,
yeah,
it will just blank out
yeah.
the map that we had. So yeah, excellent question by the way. EMP stands for electromagnetic pulse.
All right.
What it does is I would start by saying there are two kinds of EMPs. One is a man-made EMP. The other is caused by solar storms that are coming from our sun.
Uh-huh.
The man-made EMPs, pretty much in simple words, the way that they work is um, there are a very silent bombs. I will put it in this word that they are detonated in very high altitudes. What they do is they create a circular, massive electromagnetic pulse that when this magnetic pulse is sent, any device, any electronic device that has an electronic board, a motherboard, those super extremely powerful magnetic pulse will fry those boards. So pretty much in an event of an EMP launch, your phone, your electronic watch, if you have a pacemaker, they will all get fried.
So does such a thing exist?
It does exist for sure, for sure. Now, pretty
How
much.
far it's gonna go? Like you.
I get
Are
your
we
question.
safe? Like.
See, the reality is, I assume that those informations must be classified.
Yeah.
Thinking about if a country has an EMP to launch, like how bad the consequences can be, I assume that must be classified. But I wouldn't know the exact information on that. But the main thing is every electronic device, regardless of if it's connected to a power source, a battery or not, their motherboards will get fried. The boards will get fried. Even your car's remote. Now, it's terrible if you think about it. It will pretty much can send the world or a big portion of the Earth back to the Stone Ages. Now, if you think about it, it can have really bad consequences. Because the thing is, an EMP would be silent when it gets launched.
Yeah. So we wouldn't know, would we?
Oh,
like
definitely.
we wouldn't know. We would.
It will feel just like a blackout.
Yeah,
like
exactly.
You get a blackout, and if during a blackout you just notice a friend that seems to just walk close by just drop dead. If he had a pacemaker in his heart, then you should be more suspicious if that was an EMP event. Or if your phone just died.
Yeah, that would be crazy.
Now the solar.
So that would be like a man-made EMP we're talking about here.
No, it would also happen with the solar storms coming from our sun.
Okay.
Last time I read something about it, I think it was many years ago, where I believe the last massive solar storms coming from our sun was back in either early 90s or 80s, which luckily then there really wasn't too many satellites around or any electronics around. But I assume if such event occur in the 22nd, 23rd century, we will be facing a lot of chaos. Just think about
we're not gonna have any satellites left just in outer space, right? So they're gonna like fall down, or just not to fall down. I mean,
well,
they're gonna be like
theoretically
non-functional.
Speaking, yes, theoretically speaking, those satellites will eventually fall down, because even I don't know if you heard about it or not, but even the International Space Station, the IIS, they use their propellers to just move the station just few centimeters or few meters up every quarter or so, because the Earth's gravity, as long as there is any object within the orbit, those objects will get attracted to Earth. The gravity of the Earth will still pull them down by just a few centimeters eventually after some time.
Okay.
But yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
All right. So the question is there anything we can do about EMPs? I mean, we're talking about sun. We're not talking about North Korea or Iran or I don't know, or another country that we can like put like sanctions on them or something. You know what I mean? It's not about politics. It's not about weapons. It's not about anything. It's just like nature. So can we do anything? Can we have like any safe haven or safe bunkers to protect at least some of our computers in case of such an event?
An EMP attack would be the most nastiest kind of attack, in my opinion, because it would happen very fast, very quick.
Attack when we're talking
An
you're saying
EMP
attack.
launch. An EMP
Okay.
launch. Overall, an EMP attack would be a man-made EMP launch.
Yeah.
But a solar flare, a solar storm would be just a natural, but still it will be quite quick. Now, in regards to just
But
staying safe.
let's say like we don't know which one is gonna happen. Okay, like solar. What was it? Solar flare.
Solar flares, yes.
Solar flare, or just man-made EMPs. So what can we do? I mean, regardless of the source of the EMP, can we do anything about EMPs? Can we protect some of our computers? Maybe
Well,
put it under the bed.
definitely not under the bed. That wouldn't help unless you have one of those. I forgot what they're exactly called. There's like a little RFID bags that you usually put your phone and credit card in it when you go through the airport security.
It's like the
TSA.
tinfoil hats.
Exactly. There's something very similar to that. That will pretty much reflect those electromagnetic waves, but it still depends on how powerful those waves are. But to better answer your question, Sam, I would say we have a better chance as humanity to watch out for a natural EMP from our sun rather than an EMP attack. And what we are doing for that is there are a few satellites orbiting the sun in a high distance. I don't exactly recall the satellite names, but what those satellites do, they pretty much monitor sun's activity to watch for any solar storms in the surface of sun.
Yeah.
And I would assume that if a solar storm happens from the sun, now it usually takes around 8 minutes for the light to reach Earth from sun. Now we know, photons are the fastest moving particles in our universe.
Yep.
And I assume that electromagnetic wave, which is the signal sent from the satellite that is monitoring the sun, will travel much slower than photons.
But I've never been good at physics, so.
In simple words, even if there is an instant solar storm coming from the sun, we won't have the time to know it.
Okay.
As I assume it will take less time for that EMP pulse to reach Earth from sun.
Oh, fair
But
enough.
from what I know, from what I heard, is those satellites, they're still monitoring the sun activities closely and using the AIs and machine learning. They are trying to predict.
But
what
hold
may
on.
happen.
Let's say, okay, we predict it or we see it coming. Okay, what can we do about it? I mean, in 10 minutes, you're gonna have like the huge EMP that is gonna destroy all the computers, all the electronics, all the
In
all
electronics
the like
overall.
literally on the controllers like Teslas, you know. So
Well, let me
what
put it
can we
this way.
do? I mean, we have 10 minutes, okay, and yeah, what can we do? I wanna know.
What would you do without electricity, Sam? Imagine there is no electricity. What would you do for a week? How would you survive?
Light out a candle,
What would you eat?
canned food, tuna.
Where is that canned food coming from? Where do you get it? How is it produced?
Well, for a week I'm gonna have it.
Let's say a month.
Well, I don't know. You tell me.
Well,
Because I don't know where you're going with this. You definitely do.
well, I will put it this way. In an event of an EMP launch, we will most certainly go back to dark ages. There will be no communication through networks, through computers. So, first thing first, you can't go on your local grocery stores online to order some food. So, you better have some canned foods for a while to survive, some water to survive on.
Are we talking about post attack or post EMP?
Yes,
No,
this is a plan. This is well. If you're talking about what can we do
what can we do
to prevent it,
not exactly to prevent it, but for example, like put our electronics in a safe place, or I don't know, send it to like just attach it to James Webb. Okay, and James Webb is gonna come back one day, you know, so we're gonna have our computers back. You know, just send it somewhere else. Just somewhere else. Just be as far as you can. You know,
to best of my knowledge, there is nothing that we can do in that regards. I would put it this way: what?
bunker,
Well,
bunker. What
bunk.
about like if we have nuclear bunkers, right?
Okay.
Okay. What about EMP bunkers? Do we have EMP bunkers?
Not to best of my knowledge, but talking about an EMP bunker, technically speaking, EMP is all about electromagnetic wave. The bunker must be really deep in the ground with a really good, I would say, not a tinfoil shell for sure,
Okay.
that will reflect those EMP pulses.
Mhm.
But what I want to emphasize is if you just keep yourself safe in that bunker, the city, the state's infrastructure will be gone anyways. Either way, they will be destroyed in an event of an
So
EMP
we're not
attack.
gonna have any internet.
Exactly.
Or we're
Think
not gonna
about
have
your
any like network.
local mobile tower. Those towers will get fried instantly. So even if you take yourself to a bunker to keep your electronics safe,
Mm-hmm.
when you come out, your phone ain't gonna have no signal.
Yeah.
That is the most problematic when it comes to the EMPs.
Oh man.
Now, what I would do personally in an event of an EMP, which I would recommend all of our listeners to take in consideration, pretty much this also goes back to any emergency situation.
Call 911.
Well, good luck with that in the event of an EMP. The main three triad of survival: shelter, food, water. Pretty much, make sure you have some food that won't go bad for a while. Usually, canned food can stay up to 5 to 10 years sometimes. Some bottled water at least, and think about your way of communication, because in an event of an EMP, you definitely won't be able to make a phone call or send a WhatsApp message or.
So we're gonna go back to sending letters, love letters. Right.
Or
Oh my
sending
god.
smoke
Oh
to
my
communicate with another village across the valley.
god. That would be crazy. Oh my god. I don't want to see such a day coming. Like literally,
I'm sure no one wants.
nah. I mean, we have to like telegrams, WhatsApps, like all sort of messaging apps, like available
Oh,
in
not
our
just
phone on
that.
top of
It's
fingers. You know
when you
what I
think
mean?
about it, it's so much bigger than that. Think about your car.
I don't want to think about my car.
It's gonna be a terrible event, which I hope we will
Well, I
never
don't
see
have a
as humanity.
Tesla. My car is like old car. It's diesel.
Is it automatic?
It is automatic.
That automatic transmission is handled by a computer chip, which will be fried. So if you have an old, well, not necessarily old, a machine, a car that is more mechanical, it has less computers in it, and it has a manual transmission, you would have a better chance to be able to drive it. Or just get yourself a bicycle.
Ah man, I hate bicycle. Seriously. Okay, very good stuff. Wow. Wow. Next question. Next question. I have a lot of questions. Do you think we've made ourselves overexposed and just too vulnerable? I mean, we have come up like during the what do they call it? The internet, the first days of internet. Dot com,
The
what
dot-com
was it?
boom.
Dot com boom, right?
That's
Was
right,
it?
yeah, around
No,
2008.
for a moment, you know, does this ever happen to you? Like sometimes, like you forget the word. Yeah.
Oh, all the time,
Anyway.
yeah.
Anyway, so during the dot com boom, I even forgot what I was gonna say. Literally,
I will answer it anyways, because I got your question.
what was my question?
Pretty much, if you have
Oh, yeah, have we made
overexposed
ourselves too
to
exposed?
technology
Yeah.
and internet overall. Well, Sam, this is a very hard question to answer, but I'm trying to make it I'm trying to make my thoughts as simple as possible for our
Please
audience.
do, because my brain is not working properly at the moment.
Somebody gotta catch up on the sleep. Well, thinking about let's just talk about pros and cons of the internet. What do you personally think was the best thing that internet brought to people's day-to-day lives?
Not definitely Pornhub.
You sure about that?
Yeah, well, I would say like internet banking.
Ah, that's excellent. That's excellent. I remember when I was a kid, every month that my dad used to get his paycheck, he was also taking me to the local bank, and we were in a queue for a long time to see the teller. Now these days, everything is just online banking. That's definitely one of the
Yeah,
pros. Of
I
the
remember
internet.
those days too. Yeah, it was crazy. Like you would have to go to bank and get in a line like for hours and get the
Sometimes
paper
just
money.
turned around.
Yeah, now you just unlock your phone. You know, you just okay. Where do I need to send it to? And then you just send it. Like it's a matter of like seconds.
Exactly. Now, a cons of like that also brings a lot of potential issues as well. Now,
Convenience has cost always, right?
that is correct, and I cannot agree more. Now, other thing I want to mention is there is always a trade-off in between convenience and security. Talking about mobile banking, what do you do when you need to access your mobile banking? You type in your customer code, customer PIN, your password, and then you're prompted for other security
You're talking
measures,
about
the multi-factor authentication. A lot of people.
yeah, for the first time, yeah, but like when you use it, like now if I use my internet banking,
If
it's
you
just
use that
fingerprint. That's all.
exactly that is on your mobile phone because when you sign in to the your mobile the
App.
bank app,
Yeah.
it sets a digital certificate on your phone, which is quite sophisticated and secure, so that your phone is trusted. But overall, there is a trade-off between convenience and security. For example, mobile banking, to make it secure on the internet, because internet is open to anyone. Just a simple client pin and a password won't be enough. That can potentially be a brute force attack. Your password
Yeah.
can be leaked, or especially many people these days, they just use one password for many accounts, which is a very worst, nasty practice.
Yeah,
If
it
one
is.
password is leaked out, then pretty much a malicious actor can try to think, oh, maybe this person, let's call them Alice or Bob, could they have, let's say, with Bank of America or any other bank? So let's just try to see if they also use that email address and a password there, just to try to get into their account. So my point is, more security measures are always added, like multi-factor authentication. When you type in your password, then you're being prompted with another, let's say, a 6-digit PIN that is being changed every 30 seconds, just as an additional layer of security.
Yeah, not everyone uses that though. Like, because
Exactly.
yeah,
That
everyone's
is
like, oh, I can't be bothered to go and like get the pin, get the code, OTP, what do they call it? They call it
the
one-time
one-time
password,
password.
yeah.
Yeah.
And then put it in the application you want to use. Everyone's like, hey, it's so annoying. I want to disable it. You're like, I've
And
heard that a
those
lot.
are the people who get their account breached, their account hacked.
Yeah,
See,
true.
that's where I'm coming. Trying to make.
By the way,
the
talking
point.
about brute force attack, just yesterday I checked my website, and Jetpack apparently has blocked like about 7,500 brute force attacks.
Oh, are we sponsored by them now?
No,
Talking about Jetpack.
no, I'm not. But like seriously, I don't like it. But
Yeah,
that's what I saw.
even in my industry, the number of
I mean,
just
how is it possible? Like,
prevented attacks.
yeah.
Well, it's open internet. It's
Yeah,
an
but
open
is it
internet,
like
and there are
automatic bots that look for example, like WordPress websites, and then they're like, oh, let's attack this website, or it's like targeted. Like, what do you think?
firstly, I
Seven
would say
thousand five hundred. I mean,
that's a lot of numbers. Yeah, I can't imagine an individual trying to do that.
yeah.
With that number, it must be a bot. With your other question, if it's targeted, could be. You would never know. What can you do about it? You can defend yourself. What can you do? You can set a rule on your system that if there's been, let's say, 3 failed logins attempt within an hour, within a minute or so, block that IP address completely, or just block that username that is trying to get into the system for like 24 hours and send you alerts.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of steps that can be taken from the defense end. That's
True.
all, and the thing is that they always need to be monitored. There's a lot of fine tuning when it comes to that, because technology is changing so rapidly, and you really gotta keep up to date with those just to stay secure on the internet.
Yeah, true. And there are also some other problems, and like we hear every now and then that about like cyberbully, that like what happened to MySpace, and the accusations that we see against Facebook these days. I mean, multiple accusations. So yeah, I would totally agree that convenience. What did you say? Convenience.
There is always a trade-off between
Trade-off
convenience
between
and
convenience
when it
and
comes to security. So
security.
yes, you want to
Yeah.
set up multi-factor authentication, or 2FA, the two-factor authentication. It makes it harder for you to log in, as you have to use that secondary code after your password. It won't be so convenient as it used to be when there was no use of it, but it surely makes your account more secure.
And in case you're wondering, like what I was talking about, what I was just talking about, when I say cyberbully, like celebrities were a target, their iCloud password,
Oh yeah, yeah, for sure.
and then they would just steal uh,
All those photos
their
I heard about that.
their special photos, let's call it.
Oh, those
So,
leaks. Yeah, no, for sure,
yeah,
for sure.
so that would like end up in cyberbully, and so I mean, you're a famous lady, and then you see your pictures getting leaked, and I mean, that must be terrible.
Oh
That
yeah, I
must be a
mean,
terrible experience.
with my experience in the industry, that's just the tip of the iceberg. I mean, there is so much more to talk about the cons of the internet overall and the cyber bullying overall. There's been many cases of many teenagers it's been cyber bullied by their classmates just because of their weight or whatever, which had really deadly consequences for them. But
Yeah.
it's really essential. See, the problem is the technology, the apps on the internet. Let's talk about TikTok, Snapchat, all these apps. They're growing so rapidly, and the new generations, the Gen Zs, all these new kids these days, they have all of these applications and technology, and it just overall the access to internet. It's so easily accessible for them that, in my opinion, without a proper education, they should not be allowed to be on the internet.
Well, they're not gonna like it.
Well, it's
Pretty
their
sure
parents
they're
and guardians' responsibility.
they're not liking what they're hearing right now. Well, yeah, yeah, true. Okay, so just talking about hacking, like there are institutions that teach you how to hack, and it's completely legal. I mean, like when you talk about hacking, automatically your brain goes towards like criminal activities and jail, custody, prison, because you hacked this giant tech or whatever, or hacked like your ex's Facebook or Twitter. So these institutions teach you how to hack. You can even take the exam and get a hacking certificate. Do you think, as someone who's experienced in cybersecurity, do you think that's something we should do? Should it be that easy?
Well, Sam, another excellent question. The course that you are referring to is called the Certified Ethical Hacker by eCouncil. I actually went for that course many years ago. So that course is all about learning to hack. And when we talk about hacking, see, the thing is, computer hacking and a hack in a life is very different. What is a hack? A hack is, what is a life hack? Like how to make your coffee easier rather than to, let's say, grind the beans, do all those fancy stuff with it.
How to peel garlic, just shake it, put it in a box, just shake it. Yeah, I've seen those videos. Yeah, a lot of life hacks. Some of them don't even work though.
A basic definition of a hack is to get an easier way to achieve an outcome.
Yep.
Now, whether if it's to do something that you daily do with your life, not talking about anything computer or network related, or just a shortcut to get something done easier, pretty much. Now, a computer hacking could refer to you, let's say, talk about that celebrity that got their iCloud account breached and their nudes was leaked. That's just one example of it. Well, they hacked into their account and got those data out. Now, obviously, if the multi-factor authentication was in place, there were no chance of doing that. But to answer the other question about the institute that teaches hacking, I will start by saying there are 3 types of computer hackers. A very bad, nasty guy called a black hat hacker. A black hat hacks for his pleasure or to make money, steal some money, I shouldn't say make, steal money, break a system, or cause some damage. You know what I mean. Now, in between, we have a gray hat hacker. A gray hat hacker sometimes do good, sometimes do bad. He's really in between. He can't make up his mind. What do you want to do? I feel like stealing some money today. Let's just steal some money.
Sometimes damn, sometimes not.
Yeah.
Okay.
So the black hat hacker is really in between. Sometimes do it for good, sometimes for bad. Then we have the good guys, the white hat hacker. What they do is they hack for good. And what I mean by that is they are certified as certified ethical hackers. They have been taught how to break into systems with the systems owner permissions to find vulnerabilities and to fix those vulnerabilities before the gray or the black hat hacker gets the chance to do so.
So basically, you need to know how to hack to fix the vulnerabilities.
Exactly. As an example, a close friend of mine who is a penetration tester, and by penetration testing in computing, I refer to, there is a term in cybersecurity that you try to penetrate into the system to break into, let's say, a bank system to steal some money or get some information. As an example, a bank can hire a pen tester to try to break into their system to find vulnerabilities and report those vulnerabilities to the upper management or to their security team so they can fix those vulnerabilities before those vulnerabilities are exploited. Now, this usually needs to happen very regularly as there are always new vulnerabilities are found and they need to be patched. The other thing with those certified ethical hacker courses is once you are certified as a certified ethical hacker, you pretty much need to sign an oath, as far as I know.
Alright, so it's not that
It's not.
without any sort of requirement or
Oh, better say consequences.
declaration. Okay,
Exactly.
consequences.
Yeah.
Okay.
So to become a certified ethical hacker, you are sort of, I would say, limiting yourself to be within that field only. As the governments know you as an individual with a lot of knowledge that you could hack into systems. So you will be, I would say, quote unquote, under watch somehow.
All right. And employers. Oh man, imagine your employer, for example, you apply for something else and your employer says your certificate, and they're like, oh my god, if I mess with this guy, he's gonna hack all the systems. Okay, I'm not gonna hire him. So
Yeah, that's one of the downside of that as well.
yeah, so especially this stereotype that exist towards like hackers and hacking. So yeah, people are scared of hackers. I mean, if I tell my girlfriend that I'm a hacker, the first thing she's gonna think about.
I'm sure she's gonna
laugh. She's gonna. Yeah, she will laugh, but after laughing, if I keep that serious face and maybe come up with a fake certificate and show it to her and be like, okay, this is who I am. I'm a hacker. I'm pretty sure she's gonna break up with me.
That reminds me of a funny story, Sam. I remember back in my university days. Me and I and a few other friends, we were trying to prank another students. So what we did, we cloned Facebook.
Okay.
And in cybersecurity, in hacking, there's this term that's pretty much called social engineering.
Yeah.
So what we did, we cloned Facebook, and by that I mean we created an internal fake website on our, let's say, home network, and when he came over, We ask him to, log into Facebook. I want to show you something funny.
Mm-hmm.
And when he went to that website, which just looked like Facebook, when he typed in his credentials, it just didn't work. He couldn't log in. But the important thing was that when he typed his username and password, when he clicked on login, those information was sent to our servers. So we then knew his username and password.
Okay.
Then later that night, we made a funny status with his account, just to make a joke.
I'm pretty sure the guy must have loved it.
Oh yeah,
I mean,
it was a funny prank. But my other point is overall there are many steps to when it comes to computer hacking. Maybe one of the first one is usually reconnaissance,
mhm.
and by reconnaissance I mean it's pretty much translates to information gathering, that you gather as much information as possible. Then there's social engineering, for example.
Mhm.
You ask them just simple questions just to fool them to give you answers for, and what those questions could be for their security questions for their account, like what is your model's middle name, what was your first pet's name, who's your favorite author. If in a regular conversation with a good tonality you just come up with these questions just in a random talk, if you're good at it, you definitely can get those information out of someone. What was your first
Yeah,
pet name? Something
true.
like that.
So that would be a great idea if you put the answers to those questions, something that is not the actual the actual uh, what do you call it? The data. Instead of the actual data. For example, like your pet's name, your first pet's name is not Daniel. I don't
So,
know.
as
Yeah.
long as you can remember that, yeah, that's a good idea. But a better workaround is to be cautious about what your security questions are. So if someone asks you about it, then you can
Mm,
be, okay, something's up, something smells fishy.
mm.
Why is he asking me that?
Yeah,
It's just
imagine you're asking some stranger, "Hi, what's the name of your first pet, sir?" All right. So, what about Hollywood? Like, we see some versions of hacking in Hollywood in movies. Like, how realistic are they? All the windows pops up on the screen, or we see some crazy black screen with some codes just going, and how realistic are they? Like, is it? And there are sometimes, like you see in the movies that the guy is asking the other guy, for example, especially in sci-fi movies, the guy is asking the other guy to open one of the gates in a spaceship, and he just goes on his tablet, bam, 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 tick, 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 and then the gate opens. So do you think like that's possible, or is just for entertainment?
well, it's in my opinion, usually those scenes in Hollywood movies are super over exaggerated. But in some movies, the last one I can recall is Mr. Robot, which is
Oh,
a
I've seen
great
it.
show. Yeah,
Yeah.
I recommend all of our listeners to check it out. I believe it's streaming on Netflix as well, Mr. Robot. I recall there was this one scene that they were trying to get into a company and they sent this hot chick to drop a USB, I believe, near a facility near the security.
Mm-hmm.
And just exactly the same with what happened with the Stuxnets in the Iran nuclear facility.
Mm-hmm.
And those security or whoever picked up that USB stick drive and plugged into the computer, well, they weren't obviously well trained. And they ended up letting that malware into their system.
Mm. Okay.
Yeah, and beside that, I recall another scene. Well, it really depends on the movie, but some scenes are more realistic looking,
Mm-hmm.
and sometimes when you see like lots of terminals on the screen typing code fast, that's often is the case with actual hacking.
Okay.
That can be the case depending on who